Welcome to Reread. We're on book 4 of the Legacy of the Force series. This one's called Exile by Aaron Alston. Aaron Alston really knows how to write Wedge Antilles. Wedge Antilles has a face-to-face chat with Jason, and he gives a speech that once you've lost your humor, then you become a fanatic. That's the difference between fanatics and regular people. It's because a fanatic doesn't have a sense of humor. And then after Wedge leaves, Jason realized that it's been a while since he's thought about saving an animal, back to his childhood. And the last time he made a joke was before Anakin died. But after Anakin died, he hasn't made a joke since. And so, he's put away his past. That Jason from the past is gone. But it's very symbolic, I think, because it's a great quote, gets Jason to think. Of course, Jason doesn't have, any regrets. But you as the reader go, oh man, that's so great and so sad too, because at this point Jason's too far gone. I think they fully established that in it. Even though Luke keeps thinking he's going to save them, save Jason, and I don't remember what my thoughts were at the beginning. Maybe I did think, okay, so Jason's going to come back from the dark side, because usually people did all the time. This book is basically solidifying, yeah, Jason he's almost too far gone at this point. Now, Kip has a great quote about, wisdom over strength. Calo Moss and some of the Galactic Alliance, they want to make Jason a master. And of course the Jedi do not think he should be a master. And Calo Moss says, but he's so powerful. He can do things even Luke can't do, which is true. He can. He's learned a lot of stuff. But Kip gives a great example and says, hey, when I was younger, I pulled the Sun Crusher out of a sun, out of a, and I navigated through the Maw installation. I did all these incredible feats. He went, now I doubt I could do that. He said, I'm really not that powerful in the Force as much. Why? Because I have more wisdom and I know not to do those things. And so, he was dancing on the side of the dark side there. So power doesn't mean you should be a master. And now he's way more wise, but not as powerful. And I love that symbology. I mean, honestly, Aaron Alston is hitting it perfectly, the nail on the head, with these examples that he's kind of given with Wedge and Kip and everything. Also, he incorporates Lando in this adventure, and I knew Lando was in this somewhere, but Lando's in this. This is where he's captain of the Love Commander, which is so funny. There's a lot of good jokes there. And when Han and Leia are talking about how bad things are, they say, but how are things with you, Lando? He goes, I don't want to brag. And they're like, no, please go ahead. And everything is perfect with Lando. He is uber rich. He has more money than he knows what to do. But he's a little disappointed because it's been a couple of years since a bounty hunter has been after him. He kind of misses that zest, that zeal, he misses that thrill of adventure. So he gets he gets a full taste of adventure here as he goes on an adventure with Han and Leia. And there's several jokes. And sometimes I think that Aaron Alston writes a story just so he can make this one joke. So I think the Love Commander ship and Lando being their fake captain for a while, I think Alston had that already written out and said, okay, now how can I wrap a story around this? I honestly think he does that at times, but it's just so good, so good. Now, after Wedge's confrontation with Jason, he actually gets demoted from the Corellian army, kind of drummed out because he's not really playing ball with them, and he understands also that he's probably going to get assassinated too. But don't worry, because Corran and Mirax and his daughter and his wife and everyone kind of come to his rescue last minute, and he's whisked back off, I guess, to the Galactic Alliance. I'm sure we'll find out later. But so he's no longer with the Corellians anymore. And at the same time, Mara and Luke come up with this theory that Brisha, who they know that Ben and Jason encountered a long time ago, was probably Lumaya's daughter. And Ben probably killed her, and that's why. And of course, they're way off. They're way off. And again, I love this, that they don't understand. And they're going to think this. I haven't read the second one yet, but they're going to think this, I think, for a while at least. They're not going to know the real truth until way later. And I love that they're so off. Both of them, Mara and Luke, are instantly jumping to conclusions. I mean, it kind of makes sense in their head, but you're like, no, that's not what happened. But the good guy doesn't always get to figure out what's going on. Or doesn't, maybe they haven't made a wrong guess, but they're still thinking something's not right. No, they think they're right, but they're way off. They're way off. And it's so much fun to read something like that. I should also mention that in the last book, Han and Leia's Nogre bodyguard died, And it kind of happened all of a sudden. I'd forgot they had died, but now they're out of the picture now, so no more no-gray bodyguards kind of coming out in the wings and saving them last minute. And I don't know what the purpose. I mean, Troy Denning loves killing people off. And I'd forgot they died because they'd been around since at least the Vaughn crisis, I know. And so to kill off some, yeah, I mean, like I said, they weren't really characters. They didn't speak that much, but long-lasting characters we've seen and heard of was pretty bold. And now Han's just flying around. And again, I thought, well, this would be the perfect time for Leia to say, hey, now that we know how the no-gray bodyguards, maybe it's time to get Lumpy and Lobaka back to do that Wookiee life debt. Because that story, they just kind of dropped. After James Luceno set it up, no one has explained why. And I really thought there'd be, I don't remember there being an explanation, but I thought, well, maybe in Legacy of the Force, they'll tell you why. And I said, oh, okay, well, now that the no-gray bodyguards are gone, maybe Leia will reminisce about how they even, you know, how Han told Lobaka and Lumpy, I don't want to do your life debt anymore. But even that didn't get brought up because I don't think they know how to write that off, you know. Now, one of my favorite parts that I do remember, clear as a bell, was Ben's birthday message for his 14th birthday that he gets from Mara and Luke. They think he's still going to be at the academy at this point, but he's not. Jason sends him to test him out to see if he'll be a good Sith apprentice. He has to go to the Sith planet of Zyast to retrieve a Sith amulet. And he's made this terrible decision to leave this little girl. He didn't kill, but he was going to kill her father. Didn't, but her father died based on his injuries. And so he decided just to leave the girl because that's just, if he brings her along, that's just less food. And he's got to ration out the food he has left because he has nothing left. And then he's making this tough decision. He's kind of losing, Ben is starting to lose his way. But that loving message he gets from his parents makes him cry. And then he turns around and goes to get the girl. And it's just such, again, Aaron Alston is setting up just perfect moments here. Perfect moments, I believe. The other thing is Winter is mentioned. Tycho mentions Winter and how she kind of confiscated some secret information. And of course, they don't have any kids. And all Tycho tells us is she likes to take long baths. I just made that up, but you were like, what? There's a lot of comedy in this book. And one of the funniest scenes is Aaron Alston writes as Han Solo checking with Lando, checking with Leia because he's about to punch the thrusters. He went, "Ready, Lando? What about you? Are you ready, Leia?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And Third Beard goes, "You haven't asked if I'm ready." He went, and he said that's because I want to hit the thrusters and watch you roll around the ship for a while. And Third Beard goes, "Oh my, I better find a seat." It's just, I can see that happening in my head, and there are many times you laugh out loud about this. Now, unfortunately, this is where we get, I really hate this, the ship, the Sith ship just called Ship, and he's going to be, the ship is going to be around for the next series too, and I think there's just such a stupid name, and even looking at it, I mean, I guess this Sith ship has a conscience of its own, and it likes dark side people. It doesn't really like Ben that much, but it likes dark side people. I get it. I still don't like Ship. I think Ship is just kind of stupid. But I forgot that Ship was introduced so, I guess it's not early now, but I knew it was done in Legacy of the Force. I just thought it was like 3 books later, toward the end, Ship got introduced. But I was totally wrong because it makes sense that this is how Ben got off the Sith planet. So I just didn't think about it being this soon. But Ship is now here to stay, it looks like. Jason at the end walks into a trap set by the Corellians, but Han, Luke, Leia, Mara all come to his rescue. Lumaya is there. Alima or Alma, can't remember her name right now. Oh well, it doesn't matter. But they're both fighting. They find out Jason kind of leaves them, abandons them. In fact, and Lumaya asks Luke to hold her hand, to see that I am not a threat to you. I do not hate you. And Luke does and goes, because there's no hate in her. And he's kind of confused by that. Now that's going to come back to bite him. I remember something very specific in the next book. That little instance there where he holds Lumaya's hand is going to come back to bite him later on. If I remember right, it should be in the next book. But at the very end, Lumaya tells Jason that he has to undergo a sacrifice. He must kill someone he loves. And of course, he doesn't want to kill his daughter or his wife. He won't even let Lumaya know they exist. But who does he kill? And, you know, does he kill his parents or whatever? At that point, he knows it's just over. His relationship is over with his mom and dad. He says, goodbye, Mom, goodbye, Dad. That's kind of how the book ends, as he's deciding who's going to be his sacrifice, which we all know who it's going to be in the next book. But for right now, boy, there are some great moments. There are some really moments that make, humbling moments that make you just go, oh, this is heartbreaking. And then at the same time, Aaron Alston brings the comedy like no one else. I really don't know of another author who does this that well. I mean, I talked about how Iron Fist, he made me laugh and got me crying. And in this one, there's so many points that just touch you. It touches you so deep. And then, you know, a few pages later, you're laughing. You're laughing your butt off at something he wrote. So, I mean, Aaron Alston is just the master at writing. He gets Star Wars. He gets the gist of Star Wars. And his books are just so good. And Exile is no different. Excellent book. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time.